Hey guys, this is Drew with the Freedom Coin Show podcast. We're here with Casey and Blake. Wanted to talk to Todd. He's out of Oklahoma, a really good dealer that we've been doing business with ever since going to Grapevine shows. But let's get Todd on the phone here and learn a little bit about him, and then ask him some questions that we had on our minds.
Fri Sat, huh?
Hello.
Hello, Todd. You are on the Freedom Coin Show with Drew Haddock, Casey Haddock, and Blake from Royal Coins.
Hi, Blake. Hi, Drew. Hi, Case. How y'all doing?
What's
this
going on?
Hot night.
Just living the dream.
It's probably about 80 degrees in this container that we're in, so it's we're feeling it.
I hear you. Well, thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure, Todd. Do you want to introduce yourself and your operation as well as your business partner to everyone that's going to be listening?
Yeah, sure. My name's Todd Hourihan, founder and president of Major Tucker's Coin and Bullion. I'm out of Broken Arrow / Tulsa, Oklahoma. I call it the circuit, but it excuse me, really isn't a circuit. Setting up at a lot of shows, mainly in Texas, in Oklahoma, the last couple of years. Moved here to Tulsa area in 2017 when I retired from the military. Retired as the Inspector General of the state of Nevada. At that time, I was a part-time dealer, and with retirement, I wanted to become a full-time dealer. Do not have a storefront, but average about 20 to 24 shows a year. And then I do, like what you were saying, I have a partner that we promote shows together. So we've had a couple, one at Branson, Missouri, and in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma at the Stony Creek. We do a show there in the spring. But other than that, just a single proprietor company.
Would you be able to introduce Chris, your business partner?
Yeah, Chris Harold, Arkansas Coin and Bullion. Him and I co-chair the show in Broken Arrow. Chris is not here right now. He owns his own company, Arkansas Bullion and Exchange. He's mainly a supply dealer, one of the best guys you ever meet. So if you're ever at Grapevine or shows in Oklahoma, you ever need supplies, Chris is the guy to go to. One of the nicest guys you ever meet. And when I moved here in Oklahoma, he's the president of the Tulsa Coin Club. And I'm the vice president of the Tulsa Coin Club. But Chris just became the president of the ONA, Oklahoma Numismatic Association, and I'm one of the regional vice presidents in Tulsa. So when I got here in Oklahoma, met Chris at the club meeting, took a liking to him, vice versa. One of the stand-up guys, and we grew a friendship out of it, and occasionally we do a little business together promoting shows. So, yeah, that's about it.
Sounds like a solid team. The people up in Oklahoma and the coin dealers are definitely lucky to have Chris's leadership and you working alongside him. We have some questions that we have written down that we wanted to ask you. Drew, do you want to start by...
Yeah, and I want to kind of plug the Broken Arrow show real quick because, I mean, Todd and Chris do such a good job. I mean, every time that we go up there, I mean, that's like the only reason that we would drive 8 hours anywhere right now. I mean, the Broken Arrow show is really well organized, and there's a lot of great dealers there that are willing to look at your collection, help you out, and, you know, treat you fairly. And I think Todd and Chris really do well there. Something that really is, hey, it's my pleasure, Todd. There's a question that I've been trying to ask everybody this past week, especially with metals just kind of nosediving a little bit. What's kind of your projection towards the end of 2022, and what do you think spot price will be for silver and gold by the end of this year?
Yeah. Now, before I get into December, there's some little tricks of the trade, and at the end of the day, it's opinions. And you know what they say about opinions. Everybody has an opinion. But here's an example. Current rate today, gold should be, if you look at and then I don't know if you want to get into the pre-recession and so on. Gold right now should be at 1790. Okay, if you look at all the charts, it's underperforming. And the point is, gold closed right now on the Asian markets at 1726. But at 4 o'clock today, it was around 1734. It's underperforming right now, roughly 3.5%. Okay, we're inflation. So theoretically, gold should be right now at 1790 to 1800. In silver, now let's move to silver. Silver is actually performing worse than gold. Silver, if you look at the charts, silver right now is at 1902. Theoretically, if you look at the charts in the past, it's down under fair market value 7%. So it should be at 2050. Now, with all that said, it should be higher. Okay, the inflation, and if you go back 2008, the recession started in December of 2007, but 2008 was the brunt of the last recession, and it kind of concluded in 2009. With all that said, with the inflation rates and the yields, it's undervalued right now. It's definitely a bear market, but when it hits the bottom, whatever the current bottom is, it should springboard up. So your question is, where do I think gold and silver, well, let's just say bullion in general, is going to be in December? There's a trick of the trade right now that I've analyzed. I want to talk about it. Could I talk about August for a little bit?
Yeah, that'd be great. We'd love any insight that you have.
Okay, this is Todd's world, not Wayne's world. I have noticed in the last 3 years, and a lot of people want to keep it a secret, but mark your calendars, mid-August. Sometimes gold and silver the last 3 years will spike up and go dramatically down, and a couple weeks later, it will go back up. And so I was doing some digging and all that. I'm like, why has this happened in August for the last couple years? And then it dawned on me, and I was watching the news or, online and news reports and the commodities and all that. That time frame, a lot of your central banks, executives and buyers on the commodities market go on holiday. We call it vacation. They go on holiday. And when they go on holiday, they go away for a couple weeks. So if you go back and look at, the old London Fixed Exchange and so that everybody has the Kikto app, go back the last couple of years in August, you'll see for 2 weeks a spike up and go down, whether it goes down a lot or a little, but then all of a sudden 2 weeks later it goes back up. It's going off of quote unquote the banking holidays or the traditional holidays that the European and central banks like to go. With that said, the ratio right now is so out of whack. It's 1 to 90 and some change, gold to silver ratio. That's unheard of. It should be a normal spread of around, 1 to 70 to 1. I like 60 to 1, but you're at 90 to 1 ratio of gold to silver. Logically, and if you're following the charts, gold should be up and silver should be up in December. Don't have a crystal ball in front of me, but I would estimate minimum 1850 or higher. Maybe probably be around 1900, more than around 1900. I'd say, and Drew and Casey, I'll see you in December. So let's do a little shake hand bet. I'm going to predict gold around 1875 or higher in December. At the Grapevine show, I'll put my mouth where put my money where my mouth is. Gold at the Grapevine show should be around 1875 in the December show, and I'm going to swag it and say silver will be around 23 or higher. That's my thoughts. Just looking at the charts, looking at the spread, 90 to 1 is just way too high. And precursor to recession. So some people, the economists, are saying we're already starting the recession process. I talked to you guys last year, and I started warning dealers, and some dealers were listening to me last summer. The recession's coming. Start unloading your big coins. I was off by, about 3 months, but you're starting to see the effect. But that's probably another question on on value of rare coins. But I don't know. What's your all's thoughts? Where do you think it's going to be?
What are your thoughts, Blake?
Yeah, we just talked about this on the last podcast, which was a pretty interesting topic. So I went with 1850 on gold and 22 on silver.
Yeah. I'm like that. That's my original gut area there. Being the optimistic. Yeah, we're within a couple dollars, and I agree with you, Blake. I just want to be an optimistic, but that was and is my initial read on it, around there or a little higher. But I agree with you, Blake.
I was around 1900 for gold, and I think 2450 for silver.
Yeah, see, we're splitting it. See, we make a great team.
Yeah, I was being very negative, I think. So I was like under 7. I was like under 17 and under 20. So that's about where I was.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that?
I just I think people get. I mean, I'm kind of just. It's just a crystal ball that's not very crystalline. You know, it's very hazy. But it's just when I think about it, it's like what are these politicians going to have to do, and what's going to have to change in the market? Because I know there's going to be a lot of elections due November, and they're going to want to cascade that all the way to the end of the year. And a lot of the stuff that they're going to be doing is, I mean, either going to drive the price up or is it going to drive the price down? And a lot of people like to read headlines and base their opinion and what they want to spend money at. And so it's kind of like that's just was my thought. I mean, I'm just wanting to see where midterms kind of land, and
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Very interesting. I just moved, and the gentleman, the contractor working on my house, he had to come fix a couple things. Well, they weren't broke. Great contractor, but some building supplies. And I go, hey, in the last month and a half, because he started working on the house in May, I go, lumber was high, and parts and stuff that they need to build things was high. I go, hey, out of curiosity, have you seen, since you started this project in May, prices going down? He goes, let me tell you something. I forgot what it was. It was some kind of spray or something, like a lubricant or something. I don't know what it was. He goes, 2 months ago it was $91 a gallon. I go, oh, wow. He goes, I just picked it up yesterday for $19. That's how much it's dropped. And because I was asking him, because he builds homes and all that, I go, you starting to see it slow down? He goes, absolutely. With it slowing down, that supply chain, lumber is starting to come available. No one's really traveling with the crazy gas prices. Now, switching it over to the bullions in the metals, I think that's where we're going to be in December timeframe. But then again, central banks and the governments, we just never know. They know before us, and that's why we're just squirrels trying to get a nut here.
Exactly.
All right, well, I have 2 questions here for you. We'll start with what's your favorite coin to collect?
I tell you, silver classic commemoratives. As a dealer now, I'm 95% dealer, but you can't get the collector out of you. When I was going for it, I completed that. It took me 5 years to complete the 144 coin classic commemorative set, but I like to call it 146. The debate that the Norris thin and thick is part of it, but I got it anyways. That's my favorite set. At one time on my registry set, it got up to 21. It's around 28 or 29 now. I don't update it anymore, but I love that one. And the other one, trade dollars. I love the history of the chop mark trade dollar. Just how it was supposed to only be in banking channels, mainly into Asia. Well, 85-90% of that dollar to compete with the 8 real. And just the history, how it went over to Asia, mainly China, and then it comes back. But then you will see a couple of them that I have will have 7, 8, 9 chop marks on it. And so classic silver classic commemorative, And the only set that I'm actually still on the collecting side going for is the whole trade dollar set in a chop mark, high quality MS quality chop mark. Those are my two favorites.
Yeah, I've been moving a little bit into commemoratives too, but I've been trying to get like Rattler CEC approved commemoratives, and that's like I'm paying out the ear hole for them, but I feel like
you are.
I feel like over time those are just going to withstand the market more. I mean, they're arguably the most original that they were ever going to be, and now people are just dipping them, or there's a lot of commemoratives that you see now that are raw or cleaned, or the best ones have been found arguably, and so it's like, for me, I that's kind of something that I like. It's just a true attestment to the what they actually might have looked like back then. Yeah.
Okay, I got a quick story. I got a dealer buddy of mine out west because I'm military for 23 years, but in one of my locations that I was stationed, I got to know him and all that, and we joke around a lot. He goes, Todd, you should change your name to Major Tucker's OnlySlabCoins.com because he always wants to sell me the raw coins, but I always buy slabs. And he's like, why is that? And I go, it's just today's market in what you're saying. Raw coins, if they're dollar value over $150, you lay 10 of them out there, 8 of them been clean, doctored, and all that, and people are getting ripped off. I like to carry, minus the bullion, minus my gold bullion, silver bullion, and platinum. If you ever come to the show, my 4 cases of them are all slab coins. And people ask me, why do you do that? And I like to say, my grandfather taught me, he goes, Todd, and that's it is my slogan, definition of a deal, it's fair to both parties. With a graded coin, your opinion and my opinion is irrelevant. It's what the coin says. Now, is there a bunch of clean coins and PCGS, NGC, Anatole? Absolutely. But at least you're on a fair playing ground as a customer and a seller, that you could come to a price that both parties walk away that it's fair. The raw coins right now, it's unfortunate. Most of them have been cleaned. And people trying to put sets together, it's very frustrating. As a dealer, do I buy raw coins? Yes, but I get coins graded all the time at NGC and PCGS for customers, and they send them in, and I'm like, I talk people out of not getting coins graded more than they get graded. I could take the money and run, but I'm like, dude, how much money do you have in this coin? This amount. I go, it's going to cost you this amount, and that coin is going to come back clean. And then the girl saying, well, I bought it on eBay. And I'm like, yep, that's why.
Yeah, a lot of it's just not feasible. You know what I mean? Like, it's just where all the costs are going and how much PCGS is expecting, and then you have to wait 6 months. A lot of it's just ease of turnover. You can't really, even with raw coins, people want that peace of mind or that more close-knit projection of a grade, even if it's one kind of up, even if it's kind of undergraded or overgraded. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's fair. It's the last 2 years. How do I articulate this? The last 2 years, the two major grading companies gotten hammered with COVID. People teleworking from home, buying it, and the influx of coins going to them. But at the same time, the quality of grading has gone down because they're hiring a lot of new graders. And I'm going back to your point. The Radlers, first generation Annex, Radlers, and the first generation NGC, the fatties, those are the purest grades you're ever going to get out of coins. And with that, they're more desirable. And I agree with you 100%. There's premiums on them, and there should be. Because back then, a grade of 64, today most likely is going to be a grade of 65. So that's the purest under the Sheldon when they started doing that years before the grading. PCGS and NGC, what is it, 85, 86 time frame. But those are the truest grades of the coin, in my opinion. Blake, what's your thoughts?
No, I'm on board with you with the certified coins, especially going to coin shows and dealing with a lot of new or inexperienced coin buyers. Having the coins certified there in front of both parties really does help the negotiation of both parties to feel comfortable in the end that the price they worked out is a good, fair price.
Yeah.
Or they call you in 6 months, if you sell them a raw coin and then they get it graded and then they call you in 6 months and say, well, you said it was MS, but it's AU, or you said it was, it's cleaned, or, so it's like, brings us together.
Yeah. And you go around, I will, dealers in general. It's like a car dealership. You got good ones and you got bad ones. And some of them know the coins are cleaned and they'll portray it that's an AU or uncirculated. But they're not telling the customer they submitted it to one of the top tier trading companies, NGC, PCGS, and it comes back slabbed AU details. But they're telling you it's AU, so they're, it's like I was saying.
They're basically net grading it for you before you even send it in, right? They just say, it's probably an AU coin, and then it ends up being AU details. They net graded it.
And they crack it, and they'll tell you it's an AU coin. Well, they're telling you the truth, but they're not telling you the whole truth.
Right.
They're
it's not
telling
the
you
full
it's
grasp.
an AU.
Yeah, the full grasp of the situation kind of thing.
And to me, it's deceiving, and I don't crack coins. The only time, sorry, that's my dog, my blue ticoon on, drinking water in the background in the office. It's hot out. The only time I ever cracked coins was per the customer's request, and I thought this was unique, and I've had at least 5 customers do this, buying slab coins, but they want to crack them and put them in the album. And I'm like, okay, but I recommend it stays in this, and I give them my 2 cents. They're like, yeah, I understand, but I want them in my album. I'm like, okay, I could crack it for you. And I could crack the coin in less than 30 seconds. I'll give it a minute. Sometimes 30 seconds. There's a trick of the trade that I learned from a dealer, and if you want me to share it, I will, but it doesn't harm the coins. But that's the only time I crack the coins. When you come to buy my tables at shows and all that, you will see coins in there. I'll say like AU detail. I'm not going to crack it. I want to be as transparent to my customers and fair to them as possible. And you guys see it. My tables are usually full, but I think it's the fairest playing field for a dealer to customer transaction.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think Blake had a second part to that question. What do you want to ask him, Blake?
Yeah, one more part here, Todd. So you said you go to about 24 coin shows a year and you don't have a coin shop. So is there any recommendations or feedback or insights you can give to any potential anybody out there, anybody that's listening that's thinking about getting into the coin business, maybe thinking about opening a coin shop or just doing it on the mobile or just doing it online? What have you experienced out there, and what would you recommend to them?
I tell you, I retired once, and I have a great job. I do both full-time deal and full-time job in defense contracting. And I was going to walk away in 2020. Kind of ironic, in February, right before COVID was starting to ramp up in March. Found a great location, and I wanted to open up the coin shop. I just want to do that because it's not working when it's passion and fun. And I researched the areas. I found the location. I called the guy, and I was going to sign the lease and open up the store. But his terms were just out of whack. 5 years, and I'd have to put at least $300,000 in the store because all it was the brick, literally brick and mortar. I'd have to put sheetrock up. The key to a coin shop store, bottom line, is location. Location. Where I was going to put it, well, I'll tell it now because it's gone. Drew and Casey, you know where the Stony Creek is, right, in Broken Arrow? Right across there were some shops there. They're all manned up now because I analyzed the traffic patterns. There's over 2,000 cars going in and out of that location. Now let's take Texas. Let's take Arkansas, New Mexico. If you're gonna open up a coin shop, which I want to do one day, is location. And my 2 cents is in a nicer part of town, because the clientele, the suburbia area, middle class, upper middle class, on the verge of the rich. And the reason is there'll be a safer location. What you have in the store, and the clientele coming in will have the proceeds or means to buy those coins. At the same time, compared to, I got buddies that are coin dealers all across the nation, and the ones in like downtown area or on a main strip or drag, when there's, well, I'll just say it, vagrants out there, they have to shoo away the vagrants all the time. They'll come in, they find a penny on the street and say, hey, this is that, so-and-so. And so my opinion is location and also security. Cameras, bars, having everything secured. And if you could afford it and want, put a killer dog in there at night. I've known 2 dealers. I will not say their names and what states they're from, but both their stores have been broken into. Smash and grab, literally driving a truck through one of them, in and out, tag team, 3 guys. They got them on camera. They caught them and all that, but security and safety. Location and security is the key to open up a coin shop. And so you're looking at capital alone. People ask, Todd, when you open up your store, and I don't have that money, so right now, what do you think you need? I think you need minimum just shy of $250,000 to open up a good, healthy, clean, customer-friendly environment to be successful with a coin shop.
Yeah, we live on the north side of Houston, so how far off the highway would you have your coin shop? So, because we live in a middle to upper class area, and we live in kind of a we butt up right against the highway, the major highway. So what's kind of your? I don't want people to drive in and like you're saying, drive in and then they're on the highway in 30 seconds.
Exactly. I mean, it's the military in me. The circle of life or the corridor of life. You want to be closest to a main artery, which would be that interstate, but far enough away. I would set it a mile, no more than 2 miles, if it's in a good strip mall area that's no pun intended, like next to a Bath and Beyond, or not next to a cell phone place, not next to a Cricket cell phone, a place where, like an eatery, like a middle class eatery, I don't know. We have Louis up here, or I wouldn't put it next to a fast food joint. Does that make sense? I would put it in a mom and pop store that's upper middle class. And I don't want to offend any listeners, but that's just for security purposes.
Yeah, it just depends, because I know that inner city sometimes is a giant dumping ground, right? Like, oh, my grandmother had this stuff, right? Like my grandmother had a bunch of bullion or a bunch of rosies or whatever she kept back, and I need my money for my rent or I'm paying off something, right? And that ends up being what brings people in. And then sometimes on the other side of the coin, when you go into those upper areas, people are like, okay, well, I have an extra $500,000 and the economy's crap.
Exactly.
What am I going to do with it? Who am I going to call? And they're thinking past what they have to pay for their bills. They're thinking past what they have to, it's just accessible income that they already basically saved for a time as this, and they're thinking a little bit more forward. Is that what you're kind of saying, Todd?
That's what I'm saying. They have the means for the collector side, because what you're saying in the beginning, like in the downtown area and all that, it's either they're going to you or a pawn shop. And so the clientele, little more shady. It's out of necessity or a need. And I wish everybody health and happiness in the world, compared to if your shop is in the suburbs, middle class area or higher. They want to come in and they are building a collection, and or, hey, I got 5 or 6 gold eagles, but will you buy them from me? But I'm also into Morgan dollars. I want that 89cc and so on. And so now you could build up a good customer base. And that's what a business is about, is your customers. Some dealers make that mistake. I call it the wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. I just made $300 off that guy. I saw you rip him off. I don't know how you could live with yourself, but I'm not going to get involved in the deal. I prefer to have a relationship with my customers. And then you'll see at shows I have, Todd, we missed you. You weren't at Cowtown. No, I have conflict there. We're coming to see you. That's the clientele you will get if Casey and Drew, if you open up your shop in the suburbs of Houston, the constant customer. And then with that, the trust is built between you. They tell their friends who have the means for the collecting hobbies. I would tell you, since I moved to Oklahoma, I started off small with 1 table, 2 cases, grew to 5 cases, and my customer base has not quadrupled. What is it, 5 or 6 times what I had, and it's word of mouth. That's a fair guy, and then I get calls all the time. You sold to my buddy so-and-so. He recommends you. And I think you would be more successful with a coin shop with that quality of customer that has the means for that. And you'll be more successful in a more secure location. Your numbers are coming in and out of the door, maybe a little less, but it's quality. And you don't need, the German Shepherd. Well, I would still recommend the German Shepherd and personal security. But I agree with you. That's where I would put it. That's where I'll put mine one day.
Yeah, it's just about the road that you want to pave with your business. What do you think the ratio for you, Blake, at your shop is between, like, because there's people that are out of there, like you were saying, necessity, and then there's people that come in there that are like, we have big pockets and we want to, see what you guys have, and what's kind of the ratio that you would see at your shop?
Say it's about a 33% 3-way. There's people that are selling items out of necessity. They need money. There would be people that are selling items that they inherited, that maybe they don't need the money. That's just something, another item in their house. Yeah, they don't collect it. And then you have the third is the collector. And I see a pretty steady, even 33% across the board between those 3 groups of people.
What are your thoughts on Todd's other metric about staying away from the highway within 1 to 2 miles, just for security purposes? I know that you guys take security very serious at Royal Coins.
Yeah, I would recommend if someone's going to open a coin shop, have it. You want it close by a convenient location for people to get to. and being a mile away or up to a mile away, that's a good range. I think that's a good range.
Yeah, in case you have to chase. Or, no, I'm just kidding. If you, or yeah, but that's. I think you're about almost a mile from the. I would say, and you're next to an eatery too, so that's something that's interesting.
No, I didn't know that. Yeah.
They've been there a while, man, and they know what they're doing for sure. And Blake's. I'm happy to share Blake's kind of thing because we're all trying to one day have a shop, but it's kind of cool that this podcast allows us to, take it from the perspective of not having a shop, but then someone also that has a lot of experience because it's just it's an iron sharpens iron thing sometimes. But what was your question, Casey?
I had a question for Blake if I could. One thing baffles me with coin dealers is, and I call it the car dealership or gas station. As dealers and owners, like your case, owner of a store, I want to get to know dealers and do interaction trade, selling vines with dealers because together, if dealers get along together, we make more money. But there's some people. Here's an example. Why is there on a busy street? Why is there 4 gas stations, one on each corner? So then the customer could see, that gas is at $4.50, that's at $4.48, and you could get other customers. Another example, like a Ford dealership and a Chevy dealership. Okay, if I owned the Chevy dealership, I'd be best friends with the guy across the street with the Ford, because if I don't have that product, I could pass him over to the Ford dealer and vice versa. And if I had a used car, we could do that. And I am baffled a lot. If dealers work together, we all make money together and support the collecting hobby. But then there's other dealers that just want to be the lone wolf. What's your thoughts on, Blake, as owning a shop and being a dealer for a while? Do you see it more beneficial working with other dealers, or do you see it hitting your profit margin?
Well, I would say it's a lot. It's more beneficial to work together. So where we're at in Houston, now, like how you were saying, there's a car dealer, there's a gas station on every corner. If there was more, more of an interest, or more people knew about bullion or gold or whatnot, I think we would see more shops popping up here and there. But we're in Houston, and there actually is quite a few different coin shops here and there. So the competition is pretty steep. Because somebody could go to one shop and drive 5 minutes to another shop, drive 5 minutes to another shop, 5 minutes to another shop. So it's pretty densely packed in Houston. But as for working with other coin shops, I work with almost all the other coin shops in Houston. There's a few that I don't work with just because I don't know them. There might be a little too far of a drive for me to get to. I've already built other relationships with other coin shops there. But for the most part, I deal with other coin shops in the general area where my store is every single day of the week.
Well, and I think that's kind of where your intentions are with your social media presence as well.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same thing. You go to a coin show where it's one location and there is 50 or 60, companies or people trying to do the same thing. How does that scenario work out versus if it's just individual businesses people are going to? So it's even at coin shows, I like to know what other dealers have. I like to who's friendly, who's good to work with. So if I don't have something, I can either find it real quick at another dealer's table, or if I'm busy, I can just recommend the customer go see the other dealer.
Yeah, I mean, what I would add to that, and what I say kind of often is, like, the most opportunities you have really in this business is, do you have the right phone number? Someone comes into your shop and they say, I want 100 ounces of gold, and you don't have 100 ounces of gold. Do you have the right phone number? Someone comes in the shop with half a commemorative set, and they're like, I want to sell it. Do you have the right phone number? Right, in case that inventory is not for you, and you know the person that'll sell the, that'll buy it at the most, or like you're saying. But I think that maybe it would be cool one day to be like, like someone goes half and half on like a piece of real estate for a storefront maybe, and so that might be because that would save maybe some money. And it's a pretty interesting concept, but a lot of it has to boil down to who you know and what you can get it for, so that customer will be happy. Because if you don't have any connections that are your friends, ultimately your customers are going to suffer.
And you brought up the point that has happened a few times at shows, and with your little network, everybody has a network. Well, let's use that commemorative. Hey, there's a huge set here. They're all MS. Well, you're looking at 75,000 and above for that. Hey, you want to go in halves for it, and you see that with shows, and that's also my point is if we all get along, we're serving the Nismatic community better, and we all straight up make money. And it's all about networks.
Well, I think a good example, and I know that Drew and Blake do this. I mean, they walk the floor, they examine these different cases. Sometimes it's at the beginning. Blake tends to get to it at the end, usually. But if we see something and we're looking to serve customers, and they always walk up to your table and have a list, or they ask a question, oh, do you have this? Do you have that? And I know that Blake and Drew are very good about saying, okay, well, we don't have that. But since I have walked the floor so many times and have analyzed the coins in different cases, I can tell you generally where they are going to be and point you to the dealer, because at the end of the day, I'm looking to, one, help out a dealer that's looking to sell a quality coin, and help out a customer that's looking to buy a quality coin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, Todd, are you ready for the next question?
Sure.
So the next question is, what was one of your strangest coin deals?
That's a good one.
Because sometimes they can be funny, or they can be, off the wall, but it still benefited you in some way,
Okay. So, so I advertise in Coin World, and I have my website is very generic deliberately, because I had it, and I was going to do 4 phases when I opened up the shop. So this happened last year. This older gentleman from Ohio saw the ad, writes me a letter, okay, with a telephone number. And I'm like, okay, one of two things, scam, or it could be what it is. So I call this guy. I'm like, hey, Todd from Major Tucker's Coin and Bullion. I got your letter. What can I do for you? And he goes on and on. He's like, I used to be a coin dealer, and, the whole story and all that. And he's like, I need a copy of the gray sheet. And I'm like, well, just buy an issue. Nope. I got all these coins, and I graded them, this and this. I'll send you a list, but you got to send me a copy of the gray sheet. And I'm like, okay. I'm not feeling it. Long story short, there was some other deal. He goes, I will send you postage. He sent me, and I still have some of the stamps. I'll bring them to Grapevine. These 1 cent, 4 cent, 3 cent stamps, and postage to send him the gray sheet. I'm like, okay, this guy sounds like an older gentleman. The new gray sheet's coming out next month. I go, dude, I'll tell you what. Just keep the gray sheet. Hopefully we'll do business together. And then he turns around 2 months later and is like, I want to return your gray sheet. 2 months later, we're already on the third generation gray sheet. I'm like, sir, once again, you can keep the gray sheet. It's all good. And he kept on stringing me along. And then, long story short, at the end of it, he's like, well, I'm going to keep my coins. You can see I collect stamps. Do you want to buy my stamp collection? And I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah, it felt like a little like a bull ride. You know, it's kind of
Yeah.
odd how it
Yeah.
all. Yeah,
You know, you never know. I got a phone call from a very elderly woman the other week, and you never know. And the key to being, I want to think I'm a successful dealer, but you know, I'll let everybody determine that. The key is never judge a book by its cover. Usually just because someone's wearing a blazer and all that, he may not have a pot to piss in. Never judge a book by a cover. Was on the phone with her for 40 minutes. She calls back 3 days later. Next thing she goes, I'm going to wire $25,000. I want X, X, and X. And when this deal goes through, I want to do it 4 more times. And the point is, always treat people with respect. It goes back to my when I was a bachelor many, many years ago. I used to go to Vegas and play a lot of craps, and I'd dress like a bum. Well, they didn't know I had a $20,000 marker at the casino. You know, my point is, never judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, I feel like you can cut off so many different opportunities if you cut half of your customer base in, if you cut your customer base in half. And I've seen that a lot. Like, just sometimes I go up to a dealer and it's like they're either really like they know the person has money, so it's like there was this person that was selling coins and they were like, "You're the best. You just know you have your eye for coins. You're different from the rest, and you're right." And then when they go up to me, they're like, I'm busy. I have someone else I need to talk to, and then so sometimes it could just, because I've met a ton of different people from a ton of different walks of life that will spend money with you if you want to build a relationship.
I tell you, and I won't say what show it is or was at, but in the last 2 years, an individual, I'll say it was in Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, or Missouri, those 4 states. And this young man was walking around and just feeling dealers out. And I had I want to say 10-minute conversation with him. And he walked away and he came back to the show next day. Through that small conversation, he drops down a 1916 XF quarter, graded by PCGS. He goes, I walked around the dealers. You seem nice. You're very, you didn't judge me. And I'm like, okay. He goes, would you like to buy it? And I'm like, yes, please. Yes, I would love to buy that coin. And I go, no, let me ask you this. I go, did you have that with you yesterday? He goes, absolutely. I was looking for the right dealer who was going to treat me with respect. And that's my point as dealers and all that. You never know who has what. Treat everybody with respect. Doesn't matter if it's, what skin tone, old, young, and women. I'm loving the trend that I'm seeing the last year. More women are starting to come to coin shows, and you guys, believe it or not, are getting a little older. I've seen this new surge of 18 to 23-year-olds, and I tell you right now, they got the money. And some of the older dealers are like, oh, I'm not going to give that person the time of day, because they were judging how that person looked and their age.
Yeah, it's good to see people as somewhat of an opportunity too. You just don't want to, destroy those opportunities. And I think that just having that in mind is something that's good. Wanted to transition here a little bit with you, Todd. It's kind of a deeper question, not about coins, but if you died tomorrow, what do you think your family and friends would say about you?
My wife will have the final say, bless her heart, because she puts up with me, and one of the best mothers I ever seen. I couldn't been honored to be married to a woman that I've never seen someone give so much of herself to our kids. I had a joke when I was in the military, and I used to say it all the time. And I said, I want this on my gravestone. here lies the biggest son of a bitch in the world. But in parentheses, I wanted to say, but he was fair. I would say if I died tomorrow in the coin community, I think it would be 80% I would say. He's a great guy. He's a good guy. I would say 20, maybe 30% don't do business with him. And the reason is, those are the dealers I won't do business with because I don't trust their integrity. I'm from don't hold it against me. I'm from New York. So where I grew up, you're a man of your word. You don't string anybody along. We're more straightforward with the military, and more straightforward. If you say you're going to buy it, this is deal or deal, you're going to buy it. If we agree on a price, that's the price. I don't know how many times, happens at least once a show, I will quote a customer a price, then I go back and look at gray sheet and all that, and I'm like, well, I advise you to buy it. I made a mistake. I should have asked. I looked at my sheet wrong. I was asking this. Well, like, you said this. I go, I'm a man of my word. And so I'm just a straight shooter. Hopefully, that's what they'll say. Hey, he's a stand-up guy. Todd's a man of his word. If he says he's going to buy it, he's going to buy it. You don't have to worry about it. But a couple of them, and I'm glad they would say it, he's a jerk. And it's, I don't know if we could swear and all that, but there's an old saying, shit hangs with shit and greatness hangs with greatness. I like to hang with reputable people, friends, and dealers that have integrity. If they don't have integrity, I want nothing to do with them. I don't want to be associated with them.
Yeah, that's a good point, Todd.
Yeah, and this is the Freedom Coin Show, so you can say that.
Say whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no government agency is going to stop us in this storage container.
That's good to know. So I don't know if I answered your question. Did I answer the question?
I think so.
So
Yeah.
what would your wife say about you?
He's cheap. He does his best with the kids, but he does his best. But when I say something, I learned that lesson. I had the best father growing up. First one in my family to go to college. He drove a forklift for a living. He was my hero. He died at a young age. But I learned a very valuable lesson. And he promised me one day he'd take me to Cooperstown. And I look forward for it. He was a man of his word the whole time, but he literally forgot. And when I was older, I said, you never took me to Cooperstown. He goes, you're right, I forgot. My point is, with my kids, I don't make a promise unless it's true. So you could ask my kids. If dad said we're going to Disneyland, we're going to Disneyland. When I promise something or I say something, I strive myself on integrity and the respect of we're going to do it. So my wife would say he provides well. He loves his kids. He's an honest stand-up guy, but I wish he would do more dishes around the house. That's what she'll probably say.
What would your dad say about you, Todd?
I think my dad, he died at 61. I was in the military. I was a captain at the time. And he was proud. When he was in hospice care, I was a bachelor. I got married late in life because a lot of the missions and stuff I was doing. But he was proud of the calling and service that I did for the nation, and goes back to maybe his father. My grandfather called him, Dad, I'll come home for Christmas. If I said I was coming home, I was coming home. So he would respect my integrity. But I'll tell you a dad joke. This is one of the fondest memories of my dad. We're fishing on the St. Lawrence River. Okay. And so I'm going to ask, Casey, I'll ask you, what did the shepherd say to his son?
I'm not sure. I don't have a good guess either.
let's get the flock out of here. I thought that was a funny joke.
Yeah.
Definitely dad joke territory, but
That's what I'm saying. I go, here's a dad joke.
Yeah, you got to save that for the kids.
Yeah. Oh, they've heard it so many times. I don't know.
So would that be on your gravestone?
Yeah. I guess I'm quirky. I got a big nerd side on me. Yeah. I like to have fun, joke around as much as I can. Life is too serious. But when there's serious time, it's serious time. So I think my dad would have been proud of me. I really do.
Yeah, he sounds like an upstanding guy, an exceptional guy.
Thank you.
Hey, Todd, so going back to the topic of lessons learned, what's the biggest lesson that you learned while serving?
Brutal honesty. If you're in a leadership position, integrity and honesty. I was blessed. I had I don't want to sound like what about me moment, but I disagreed with some of the philosophies that leaders never admit their faults and mistakes. And I made a mistake one time when I commanded an installation, was out running all that, and the soldier, I don't know, I made a mistake. Let's just say that. And I thought he was dogging it or something. And then I found out my senior enlistment advisor, NCO, was like, do you know it was this and this? I'm like, oh, wow, I made a mistake. I go, well, I'm going to acknowledge that at the end of the day formation. He's like, nope, you're a leader. You never make mistakes. Nope. I go, nope. So I got up in front of the formation and I called the individual, the young specialist out, put my hand out and said, I humbly apologize. I made a mistake. Will you accept my apology? And he said, yes, sir. And then I put him back in formation. And then I explained that to the formation that we're all human. We make mistakes, but own your actions. You make a mistake, fess up to it, own it, and apologize. And I'll tell you right now, I didn't, I was against the advisement of my senior non-coms, but it was weird. That point forward, re-enlistment went up and went skyrocket. And the unit, we had a great unit. That's the biggest thing I would say in military today, leaders owning your mistakes. We all make mistakes. I mean, I think I make 5 mistakes a day. At a coin show, I'll probably make, 10, 15 because it gets so busy. I made a mistake the other day with my kids. I'm in my office working. I got 2 computers up. There was some little rubber stretchy guy on the desk. I forgot one son brought it in. I'm sitting there. The other son come in and he's like, what's that? I go, you could have that. Next thing you know, both of them are kind of fighting upstairs. One said, I promised it to the other. And I'm like, okay. My wife's like, did you? I go, I forgot. I go, my bad, guys. It looks like I'm buying another one. So
yeah.
Own your mistakes.
Yeah, I think sometimes honesty and admitting your mistakes is a part of humanity. And I feel like what you're saying a little bit is like the military wants to, in some cases, shield you from pieces of humanity that would make you soft or make you look like you're soft, right? But I think sometimes, like, but they also say, like, no man left behind, or if we're going to die on this hill, we're going to die together. People are more willing to do that when you tell them and admit to them a little bit of your humanity, right? By telling them, hey, I'm flawed, or I have an issue and I need to fess up to it, you know?
I tell you, I was the OIC of a Claymore range. You know, the stuff that like goes boom in the middle of the night with hundreds and hundreds of BBs. We got out there and these were Vietnam era Claymores. They were leaking and all this, and I'm sitting there like, we ain't gonna fire these. So I had to go all the way up the flagpole to the general's and I called the general. I'm like, I'm not doing this range. These are faulty and this. I do not feel comfortable. So he got EOD out there, and EOD came out, explosive devices, and they looked at them all. And they're like, yep, that one's bad, that one's bad, that one's bad, that one's bad. So they blew them, and there was like 4 of them left. And he goes, those 2 are iffy, and the other 2 are good to go. So I had to call back up the flagpole and the general. I'm like, hey, they blew the bad ones. 2 of them are iffy. and 2 of them are good to go. I don't want to blow the other 2, and they're like, well, you got to blow. I'm like, oh, shit, here we go. And so you do the right thing. One of the privates, I go, come on, you and me in the hole. We go up there, we do the proper thing, and right before, there's techniques and procedures, you got, Claymore. I go, hang on a second. And he looks at me. I'm a religious person. I do the sign of the cross, and I go, hang on a second. Let me say a prayer. He goes, what are you doing? I go, son, I'm telling you right now, I don't know if we're going to live or not. Okay, I'm not being wise, but I'm going to say a little prayer before we do this. And he's like, shit, sir, you're scaring the shit out of me. I go, you should be scared right now. Say a prayer to your maker if you feel comfortable and all that, and I'm going to do it. And he started shaking like a leaf. He's like, I'm scared. I go, so am I. And he goes, Claymore, Claymore, Claymore. I blew up. I looked at him. He looked at me, and I go, okay, this never happened. Let's walk out here like we own the joint. He goes, I'm still shaking. I go, so am I, son. Everything's going to be okay. But it goes back to the humanity. People need to see leaders have humanity, humble, and show your vulnerabilities. Everybody has vulnerabilities. Just be kind, and just be truthful. Just be you.
Yeah, that's a good point, Todd. We're gonna Christy, Blake's wife, made us some dinner, so we're probably gonna wrap up here. But thank you for coming on with us and giving us your insight. I mean, there's just a lot of wealth in your words, and we're so thankful that you came on with us.
Before you leave, Todd, do you have any ending comments for people that may be coming to the Grapevine show or may look to see you at future shows?
Yeah, and leave your info too, because if people listen to this, they might want to reach out to you. They know who you are.
Info to the Grapevine show. I think right now, real quick in the coin market, I think the key dates and all that are still setting records. I just sold a coin for a customer, set a new record of 31,000 for an 1882 $20 gold Carson City PCGSM at 62. But I'm seeing key dates and higher quality coins. The prices are still up there, but I'm seeing I like to call it the low hanging fruit, which by the way, probably over half my cases coins are there. I'm talking the $500 and below range coins. I'm seeing the prices come down, and I'm seeing the prices aren't coming as high. So Grapevine's going to be interesting if it starts at this Grapevine this weekend, or if it's going to continue. I think coins holistically are going to come down in value around October time frame. I don't know if that answers your question though, Casey.
Yes, sir, it does. Do you have some contact information you want to share with the viewers?
Sure, yeah. I could be reached at 918-644-3787. You can hit my website. It's a very simple, generic website. Just tells you who I am, tells you, certified dealers here and there. You can hit my website at www.majortuckers with an S, coinandbullion.com. Major Tuckers, coinandbullion.com. And then if you want to send me a message through that website, I'll get that. If you're looking for, if I can help you with your collected needs, or if you have questions and all that, I'm constantly checking that daily, at least probably 10 times a day. So if you want to get a hold of me, those are 2 ways you can get a hold of me.
And we'll try shooting up a photo of your card in this recording video. Again, Todd, we are so thankful for the opportunity to speak to you and get your insight. Once again, just so thankful.
Thank you. I got one question. What's for dinner? I could be there in about 7 hours. What's for dinner?
Blake, you wanna drop it on us?
Let's see. She is making jalapeno popper burgers.
Ooh.
Might be a little cold by the time you get here.
And she's Italian, so it's on cloud 9.
Ooh, good for you guys. Well, I truly appreciate you allowing me to be on the podcast. I appreciate it. Anytime, guys. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And we'll get the link out to you as soon as it goes live.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you
all
so
have
much.
a good night.
You too,
Thanks,
Todd.
Bye-bye.